All right, we're at the Nashville Market, and yes, that's Nicola right there. Hi, Nicola.
Hello, everybody.
All right, we're going to take a little tour of Nicola's 5 new
Nashville
samplers
releases,
for the
yes.
Nashville thing. So
Yes, so.
we'll go right over here, and once again, the photos
Oh,
simply can't match the real
no.
deal.
You can never capture the beauty of samplers on film or camera in any way. You really have to see them for yourself. And that's one of the lovely things about coming to Nashville, that you can bring your models and store owners can come in and appreciate the beauty of them. We're looking at Sarah Dawes here. And the moment I saw
Here,
Sarah,
let me just back up because
yeah.
people need to see how large this is. This is,
So if I put my hand in, can you just sort of
yeah,
see
there's, you get a sense
of the
how
proportion?
big that is. That is one
Yeah.
big sampler. So, all right, now you're a border freak.
I love
So
borders.
this one has to be right at the top, I would think.
That's right. And the colours that we used on Sarah are really the colours that are on the front of the antique samplers today. The sampler's a little bit dirty, but these colours, the vibrancy has remained. And this was the border that gave me grey hairs, because I was a stitch out when I was charting her. But you can see how complex that border was to chart. But to stitch it, that's going to bring a lot of joy to people as they're working on all these different elements. This is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Fantastic flower. And the basket of flowers as well is equally as beautiful. And then the rose as well. And then the next row, you have these beautiful conch shells, and there's 3 different types of conch shells. And I was quite amazed when I was researching that each shell symbolises something a little different.
Oh.
Which is
Oh.
absolutely.
So like that one there, what can you tell us about that one?
Well, let me have a look what I wrote.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
See, I was expecting that to be from memory, Nicola.
Oh gosh, no. All right. Sarah incorporated 3 seashells into her design. Conch shells, when blown, produce a loud noise and are the most ancient musical instruments. They are one of Buddhism's 8 auspicious symbols, signifying truthful speech, strength and fortitude. Horse conches are Florida's official state shell, and they symbolize power, grace, beauty, nobility, strength, freedom, and forward movement. Olive shells symbolize friendship, hope, and healing. And also, seashells have a strong feminine connection, because shells are one of the main symbols for Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. So
Well,
that's a
there we
very
go.
feminine symbol. And the other really lovely thing about Sarah is this beautiful verse.
Now this is stitched over one, the verse.
The verse is, do you know what, without my glasses, I can't really see. Yes, that is over 1. The capital or letters of each line is over 2, but the verse itself is
Right.
over 1. We've got some lily of the valley on the side as well.
This border.
It's gorgeous,
What a
isn't
treat.
it?
What
Isn't
a treat.
it just?
Yep.
And then these ladies, these 2 ladies here, I'd never seen these ladies before, and then with a few months of buying Sarah, another sampler became available that has this identical lady. So I'm actually charting
The same lady.
the same lady again.
Over there.
And it's on a completely different design of sampler. There's nothing else in the next sampler that's the same other than that lady.
Huh.
And of course that bird.
Yeah, that bird
Isn't he
is,
magnificent? He's a bird with attitude. Really, really lovely. And when I saw this sampler and I saw these 2 ladies and the shells, it kept on going through my mind. She sells seashells on the seashore. So
Well, that's talent. You got through that the first time without
Yeah.
flinching. That's talent.
oh well, so the theme of the book is tongue twisters. So
Oh, that's okay.
that's going to
So
be a
you've
little
been practicing.
Yeah, it's going to be quite quirky for people. But
Okay,
she's
so Sarah Dawes, that's
Yeah. And before we I would just like
Oh.
to say that Boomer Avarajman stitched this for us, and she did an absolute beautiful job.
yes, well, no doubt about that.
Yes, we're very fortunate that Boomer stitches for us. You know, she's an exquisite needle worker, and she shows such dedication. You know, she never takes long. It's head down, needles flying, and before we know it, we have the most beautiful model.
That's a beaut. All right, next
Thank you.
one is Amy.
Oh, Amy, the little girl with a
Yes, we gotta
twinkle in
gotta
her
get-
eye.
Yes, this
Amy's
one. Yeah.
sampler. It's a small sampler for us, but she's very, very beautiful. When I first saw Amy on a auction site, it was a very small photograph, a very dark photograph, and I couldn't work out what this was because you couldn't appreciate the detail. But when the original sampler came and I studied it, I realised that this was an ornamental Georgian pleasure park, which leads up to a folly. And it's just exquisite. And of course, you've got these little giraffes. And then you've got, I don't know if partridges really do live in pear trees, but we think of this as a partridge in a pear tree.
Okay. And a Georgian pleasure park.
Yes.
Okay.
Leading up to a folly, which was very popular with, well-to-do Georgians building
Okay.
follies in their grounds of their mansions.
Oh.
And then we have, as I said, the little giraffes. And with Amy, her surname is Amy Can with 2 N's. So when she stitched the word finished,
course
she
she
put
did.
2 N's in, which is completely logical. The other lovely thing about Amy is this border. It's just so sweet. Really sweet little border. So, yeah, very, very charming is Amy.
Yeah.
And then she's got these little teeny
Yes.
moths and beautiful butterflies. There's a lot going on in her sampler.
I love those. I love those trees.
Trees,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like those. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've said this to you before and I've spoken to you. When you think of children in a classroom or in a nursery with a pot of crayons or felt tip pens in the centre of the table and they're going to draw, they'll all pick the bright clashing colours.
Right.
It's natural. That's what children gyrate towards. And the little girls that stitch these samplers, it's their artwork. They didn't have
Right.
crayons and felt tips and
No
paints.
felt tips,
They
no.
had their needle and thread.
No
So-
felt tip pens in 1831. No,
No,
didn't
not
exist.
at all.
Oh,
So
no,
that's Amy,
okay,
and
all
she's
right.
she's a little sweetheart.
Now this is the first one that I'm going to do of the 5 right
Right.
here. This is Sarah Mary
Larkworthy, yes.
Oh wait, you say it because you say Larkworthy better than I do.
Okay, Sarah Mary Larkworthy.
There, see, you have that
That's lovely.
extra little something there.
And Sarah comes from Devon, in the southwest of England, and there are about 2 or 3 other known samplers that would have been stitched in the same school. They're very, very similar. And the Lord's Prayer is such a beautiful verse to have on a sampler, and that's the central feature. And then you have this beautiful freehand border, which, when I say freehand, in the book we have actually counted that out for you, so it's all counted out. So there's no need to trace, which a lot of people get a little bit nervous about.
right.
And what we've also done with Sarah is we did a freeless freehand workshop, which is based on the freehand elements in her
Yes, and
sampler.
I have to say to people, this is worth doing.
Yes.
Yes,
so
you have to
that's-
do this.
This is available online, and there's a downloadable PDF, and there's a video which is over 30 minutes long that shows me stitching out the little design
Right.
from start to finish, and you can play that video time and time again.
But
You can stop and start it, and you can follow my stitch path, and once you've stitched the tutorial, you've got all the elements you need to stitch this border.
Yeah, that's why I say it's worth doing, because it will help you, especially if you haven't done a lot of this, it will help you do these elements and do them well, and it's really not hard.
No, not at all.
No.
The stitches used in this sampler are cross stitch over 2. There is no over 1. You've got Algerian eyelets, you've got stem stitch, and you have satin stitch. So there's not a lot of stitches, and there's not a lot of colours. Sarah only used 5 colours in this sampler.
And to me, look what she got out of 5 colors.
Yes, yeah. It's how you use the
Yeah.
colours.
Just impressive. But I just love this band. So nicely done.
That stitches up so nicely. And it's all counted out within the book, that band.
Yeah.
There we go. And
Yeah.
what I did, because cream is a very hard colour to see against white paper,
Oh, okay.
I did the cream thread in black on the chart so that you could see it easily.
So don't stitch it in black.
No, don't stitch it in black, and it clearly shows you there. So,
Don't do that.
Don't do that, no. Don't do that at
But
all.
yeah, and that's something that people should see, the charts in general, just the detail and the size of the charts. So really easy to see and very clear
Thank
all the
you.
way around. And one of the things I like is that you repeat the
The thread,
legend
that's
and the
right.
threads on every other page or
Yeah.
every page, so that you're not forever flipping to the back or the
Yeah.
front to see what they
Every
are.
time we reach the end of a side where there's a facility, we put the thread legend. And what we're doing now, Gary, we've brought it out on 2 of our national releases.
And tip of the cap for this one.
Yeah.
This is brilliant little move
Okay,
here.
so what we've got little bookmarks, and they match the sampler. So this is Hannah Gaskell's booklet and her bookmark, and you have the thread legend on the front showing the silk and the DMC and the colour description as well. And then you turn over the back and you've got the stitch directions, instructions. So as you're working through the sampler, you can have it on whatever page you're on. You can have your bookmark, so that's handy, and they're quite firm, so you could clip it to the side, or if you have a stand that you can stand it up on, and you've got that there.
Right, and that's how I'm going to use it, as I'm
Yeah.
going to hang it off of my scroll frame,
Yeah.
so it's right there visual for me.
Good.
Yep.
Now Hannah is a big sampler, so when I brought her, I had to take her out of the frame. I literally did not have a box big enough to put her in with the frame. And it's rather lovely that Hannah is being released now when we're in Lent, in the build
Yes.
up to Easter, because the crucifix, it does symbolise the sacrifice that
No.
Christ made and the resurrection, which is what Easter is all about.
And unusual to have a crucifix or even a double
A
crucifix
double
in these?
crucifix on an English sampler. Sandra and I, we've done a lot of research and we haven't actually found another English sampler that has a double crucifix.
Oh.
And if anybody knows of one, please let us know, because we would like that, to add to our research on the history of samplers. And this little boy here, isn't that adorable?
Yeah.
A little boy riding a horse. That's just gorgeous. Absolutely. And of course you've got this beautiful swan, and then you have this lovely little sweet basket,
Yeah.
and the little surround around her
I
nose.
know, I love that. It's a nice touch. Yeah.
And then you go up and the little man holding the parasol
Yeah.
for the lady. And then the windmill. And you've got a little snake on the tree.
No, this here, right here for
That
me.
basket.
That
It's
basket
beautiful,
right
isn't
there. Yeah, that's the piece for me right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very funky basket, actually.
Yes, that's why I like it. Right
Does
there.
funky mean some different?
Yeah, right,
in
different,
America,
unusual,
because I know
yeah.
sometimes our language is a little bit different. as well.
Little out of kilter. Yes.
Yeah. And you've got the 2 houses. You've got the red house and the brown house. And I love the way the little gates on.
Oh,
there
I didn't.
as
I didn't
well.
recognize those. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Every time you look at this sampler,
Something
you
else.
see something else.
And then here's the
Yeah,
other house.
yeah. And then you've got the honeysuckle border.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful sampler. It really, really is. And you've got the angels up above the crucifixes.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
So
Yeah.
it's just absolutely charming.
Fun one. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, my arm's tired. On to something
come
lower.
down, come down. So we have Eliza Bell Cox.
Okay, Christine is going to cry because she couldn't make it,
No.
and she wanted to see this one in the worst way. This thing is so gorgeous.
I know you shouldn't have favourites, but there is something about this sampler that makes my heart sing. It's just so beautiful. To have this border in cross stitch over 2, it's just so amazing. You would expect this to be embroidered rather than counted out. And pansies, heartsease, they're such a beautiful flower. They mean so much. And with the flowers, those tiger lilies. I've never seen tiger lilies on a sampler of this period in so much detail.
Those are well executed, aren't they? Look at that.
They're
Look
beautiful.
at that detail.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
And
I had not noticed that. She really got the detail in there. That's impressive.
She did. That's
Yes.
what we can say those are definitely tiger lilies.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yes.
No doubt at all about it. And
then we have the verse.
and the verse is lovely. There is a modest little flower to friendship ever dear, O plant it on my humble bed and strew it over my bier. I just think it's beautiful,
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And this bird.
Of course, this bird in this tree is just...
And that butterfly. Go in and have a look at that
Oh.
butterfly, Gary. It's gorgeous. I don't know how long he's going to last. That bird's going to gobble him up.
Yep. Yeah, he's done.
He's done, isn't he?
But that is just, that bird, what a standout piece.
Yeah.
The detail.
That bird took a long time to reproduce.
I'll bet.
That was a couple of days under a very strong magnifier. It was complicated, but it was worth doing. I
Was
think.
that an eyelet for the eye?
No, that's cross stitch over one.
Oh,
the
look
eye.
at that. Yep, it is.
So the
Almost
over
looks
one.
like an eyelet from a distance.
The over one on this one is the verse,
Mm-hmm.
the eye, and then the butterfly's legs and his antennae,
Mm-hmm.
and then the name on this beautiful little cartouche which has Eliza's name and the school that she attended.
Now that's a fairly famous school in the sampler world.
No, I've
Shows what I know.
no, and where Eliza lived, there was a Radcliffe Terrace in London quite close by, so I believe that's where Radcliffe House
Oh,
is. But the
okay.
names of houses change so much in London that we can't actually identify where it is, but I'm fairly certain it would have been in that Radcliffe Terrace. And the lovely thing about Eliza is that we have her from the day that she was born to the day that she died. So there's a lot of history on Eliza.
And that doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But she was from a very well-to-do, middling class of family. Her father was what we would call in England today a barrister. He was qualified to appear in front of the Queen or the King's Bench, depending whether the monarch was a king or a queen. A lot of his law cases are documented in the law journals. She married a barrister as well. Unfortunately, he died after 3 years of marriage, leaving her a widow at 27 with two children, and she never remarried. But she was very comfortable. When you follow her through the censuses, she had houses in very well-to-do areas with servants, and her house was always full of family and visitors. So I think she probably was a very warm, happy person. She brought up her brother's three children when he died.
She was the rock of the family then.
She was,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So, and her chart, we did some little bookmarks for her as well.
Yeah, a lot of threads in this one.
A lot of threads
colours.
in there, yes.
It goes
in
over
fact,
to the
it
other
goes over
page,
to
yeah.
the second page, yes. And in fact, I had to do a double row on the back
yeah.
because there was just so many. But it's beautiful. Those silks are well worth it for such a stunning sampler. And she has this lovely
There's
history.
the
At the
history.
front, that's her as a bride. On the back, that's her as a young mother. And that's her in older life as a widow, in my mind.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent. Yep.
So those are our 5 Nashville releases, and it's been wonderful. We're very, very grateful to all the stitchers who have pre-ordered charts from their stores. Makes it, it's very rewarding when people are stitching the samplers. There's been so many orders. I think there's going to be a lot of people stitching.
I think so. I think so.
It's really nice. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who supports Hands Across the Sea Samplers.
All right. Thanks, Nicola.
You're welcome. Bye bye.